Every decade leaves its mark on home design, and some we love. Some we just tolerated at the time, and some we can't stand to even think about, like, remember the 80s? Burnt orange shag carpet, olive green, avocado greens, just dark, cavey kind of looking places. We thought they were great at the time. Not so much now. Remember the gray and white of the early COVID period. Everything was gray and white, and it doesn't even feel natural anymore. Trends have changed. Every single home tells a story of time. But if you're getting ready to sell your home now, buyers are looking for something specific according to this time. So although I don't really believe in trends by any stretch of the imagination, seeing what people are looking for, watching for what they're looking for will help you in getting the top dollar for your home. Today, I'm going to give you a treat, a little bit different than normal. I'm headed over to the Parade of Homes where I'm going to host us a house. And I want you to see some of the things that I'm seeing. We'll talk about the things that are totally out. And then when you go to the home, we'll see if you see some of the trends that I mentioned are hot right now. And whether you're selling a $200,000 house or a $17 million house, I can promise you there are Instagram trends that your buyers are looking for. So we need to pay attention. Hey, and if you're new to me, I am Susan Thetford. I'm a lifelong realtor, native Nashvilleian, and I do these videos every single week to talk about neighborhoods, communities, things to do, help you sell your home for the most money possible, help you buy your home for the least amount of money possible, but in the best location. All those things. Grab my relocation guide. Let's have a conversation if you're seriously thinking of moving to Nashville. But let's get to this. Wherever you're from, I think you'll find it very helpful. Let's look at the timeline of trends. See if you remember these. 1988 to about 2000, we had the sage greens and forest brown area. Think dark green, deep brown, heavy drapes, and yes, shaggy orange-brown carpet. This was the area of what they called cozy at the time. Even then, I felt they were very dark. If your home still has that vibe, it's time to really lighten it up. Keep the richness, but take out the muddy tones for olives, mushrooms, warm taupes, warm whites. Get rid of those curtains. Please get rid of the curtains. 1999 to 2010 is the Tuscan brown trend. Everything was Tuscan. Cherry cabinets, gold granite, oil rubbed bronze hardware everywhere. This is the era of the Tuscan area where everything had grapes, whether you drank wine or not. Back then, the darker, the heavier, the better. Today's buyers are leaning towards soft, natural woods, white oaks, walnuts, and stone with subtle veining, not sparkly flecks. 2007 to 2020, we had the gray trend, the black and white or the gray and white. We fell hard for everything gray, white, hard floors, white shaker cabinets. It was crisp, simple, easy, but now that's feeling sterile. If your home looks like it belongs on a 2015 Pinterest board, then it's time to warm it up with some grays, some creamy off-whites, or a pop of muted color. From 2015 to 2024, we had that even harsher black and white trend. Think high contrast farmhouse look. Think Joanna Gaines. That tells you everything. Black windows, white walls, barn doors with that heavy hardware over the top. They had a great run, but for 2025 and beyond, we've softened things. You have softer contrast with layered warmth and textiles that are taking over. More natural woods, away from the grays, more depth, and less of that magazine perfect, matchy-matchy, touchy-feely, don't move a thing kind of look. 2022 to today, we are really seeing this come in strong with warm neutrals and texture. This is where the design is heading now. Adding texture, adding warmth. Still nature colors, but giving some balance. Maybe it's clean whites. Maybe that's what you really love, but the whites are being warmed a bit. Not yellow, but just having some more depth. Adding texture, adding real wood tones, not the grays, because unless the tree was dead, it didn't come in gray. Hard surfaces, those are what people are wanting right now. So now let's talk about some of the things that are definitely out. And listen, I show homes all day long to people. I'm helping people find their new homes. I'm helping people stage their homes to sell. I hear all the time, these things are definitely out, and I hear people say it. So we might as well take advantage of that knowledge in helping you get your home ready to sell. Or maybe you're thinking of building a home and you haven't quite realized these are out. You might want to get away from them. Number one, I don't think you'll find anybody who disagrees with me, is those barn doors. Now, I grew up in a barn. I love the barn doors. I actually kind of like the look of it. But with time, we all know they don't soundproof. They don't smell-proof. I just got to say it. A lot of times you don't have the room to put a door with the sweep of the door, so people love the idea of that heavy barn door. Well, between the heavy hardware, the fact that they can be noisy, so you have to have really good, strong hardware, the fact that they don't keep down sound, it's just not a great situation. And now enough people have lived with those to know they're not very good. So what do you do instead? There are different, that slab door effect without the heavy, heavy hardware, that you can conceal the hardware and it's a whole lot better look and it's a closer fit. But even so, that's not a great idea. If you're building or if you can retrofit, a sliding pocket door would be a whole lot better. Or maybe a pair of doors that fit the opening but cut in two, cut in half with pretty hardware, and it's going to have to be a solid door, but it's worth the effort to really actually close that door. It's going to be a much better look than the heavy barn doors. Just, people don't like them, get rid of it. Number two item that's out, totally out, is accent walls. It was really a thing for a while there to have maybe every wall painted white and an accent wall would be painted dark blue. Well, you know, it's kind of cool looking for designer show houses. Every new home builder was doing that kind of thing, but it just doesn't live very well. It doesn't feel cohesive. What we're doing now, a lot of people are doing, is color drenching. You're going to see that in one of the houses in just a few minutes. But color drenching is when you use the same paint color all through the room. It gives a warmth, it gives a coziness. So if there's baseboard, if there's crown, if the walls, the ceilings, all of them are painted one color. It gives a comforting, cohesive, warm look. Beautiful in an office, maybe very pretty in a dining room where typically nightlight is where you see it the most with some pretty lighting. But that one wall painted an accent wall just didn't make any sense. And the same thing goes with accent paneling. Didn't quite do it. Now this one may hurt a few feelings, and I'm sorry. But again, if I'm helping you sell your home, I want you to get the most money possible for it. And this is not something people want anymore. And they were not inexpensive to put in. Those heavy plantation shutters. People don't want them anymore. The shutters take out a lot of light, and the framing of those shutters also takes out a lot of the natural light of windows. People want bright, they want airy, they want natural light, they want every bit of light that they can see come in, and that means you have to have your windows clean, but that's a whole nother matter. They don't want those windows to be obscured in any way, shape, or form, and the heavy plantation shutters do just that. The first thing I do if I'm showing a home is open the shutters all the way open against the walls such that you can visually see and have your eye be opened up. It makes the room look bigger, it makes it look brighter, it makes it look warmer and more friendly. What are they doing instead? Either curtains and draperies, and by the way, draperies should not close on the window. They should be put in a position that's as close to the ceiling as you can get it to give the room as much height as possible. Also, the inside edges should always be at the very outside of the window so you get as much of the window as you can. If you ever want to close them, then they do need to have that stack back so you can close it. But why not use some blinds? Maybe bottom up shades like those honeycombs that gives you a little light, but nobody can see you when you're strolling around your bedroom. But anything, almost nothing, is preferable to the buyers of today than those plantation shutters. I'm sorry, take them off, repair the edges, and you're going to make a lot more money if you go through that trouble. Next, I think I've lost track of the numbers, but next is what's out, and I know you're going to agree with me. You may not like it, but carpet. Wall-to-wall carpet. Nobody wants it. Certainly not in a bathroom. I don't know why that was ever a thing. But no one wants wall-to-wall carpet. It's a little like, it just doesn't feel clean. They don't get clean. Just please don't put it in. If you have it, then I would suggest you change out to a solid surface of any sort. If you can't do finished wood, which is certainly preferable, you're going to see in $1,000,000, multi-million-dollar houses, the very high-end luxury vinyl plank floors. Do something like that. If you want to add some more, put down an area rug to give it some texture, to give some feel, to give some layering, to give some warmth. The rug sizes are important. Don't get the little bitty ones. It needs to expand under all the legs of the furniture. But the biggest thing I want to say here is wall-to-wall carpeting, if you can possibly not have it in your house, is great. People often say, well, you know what, maybe I'll just give a dollar amount to the buyers for them to change it out. I can promise you, you're going to do better if you can take out that carpet, put down a solid surface of some sort, and then let them add their own area rugs. People in their mind always think things are going to cost a whole lot more to change than it would be if you go ahead and do it and you don't have to discount your price. Just a word to the wise. I've seen it happen over and over and over. No wall-to-wall carpet. Next is the open shelving. It was everywhere. The open shelving in the kitchens was absolutely everywhere during COVID period. COVID did a lot of bad things to us. But that shelving, we've now had it long enough to know it looks beautiful if everything on it is perfect and styled and you don't have any of those plastic things. And it has to be so constantly perfect. However, it's also grime, grease, dust. You've got to clean everything all the time. Are you just using it decoratively? Then where are you putting all your other stuff? You need cabinetry with doors that close. If you want to do an accent or two with some pretty shelving to display things, okay. But, it was a lot less expensive to not do full cabinetry. I think that was a part of the appeal, but people have lived with it long enough to know it doesn't work well in day-to-day life. Nobody is as organized as the perfect staged home builder's home that nobody lives in. Please, everybody's over it. Don't do them. Now, if you do have some cabinetry that you maybe want to show some display, maybe do a reeded glass door. Take out the paneling of 2 or 3 of the sections and do a reeded glass so you can see out behind it. Put in some lighting, give it some mood lighting. Toe kick lighting under the cabinetry is wonderful and beautiful. Certainly do some lighting underneath the cabinets, the upper cabinets, and if you can, do some lighting above the cabinet if it doesn't go to the ceiling. These small details will, I promise you, pay you back thousands of dollars every single time. Okay, I think I could go on and on with this, but let me mention one more thing that is totally out, and that is shiplap. Back to Joanna Gaines. I cannot tell you how many people she influenced, and everybody has shiplap, but it's just not the thing. Now, that's kind of a take on what's been timeless and true forever, which is beadboard. Ceilings with beadboard. Beautiful, but the shiplap is kind of over and done, and it feels faddish, and if you've got it and you love it, keep it. Nobody's going to hate on a house because it has it. But what would be better maybe is doing some applied moldings. If you want to give some pizzazz and some character and texture to some walls, especially maybe a powder room, put in some texture with adding some applied moldings. It's really not that hard to do, and I think it makes a big difference. If you want character, you want texture, you want, especially in a small powder room where you might even do that color drenching, it's a small space. It's not that hard to change if you hate it or your buyers hate it. But the shiplap just, again, is feeling very dated, and what you want your home to feel is fresh, new, alive. If you're building, know that it's dated, and if it's feeling dated now to most people, then I can promise you in 5 years it's really going to be dated. So you may want to make some changes. One other quickie, years and years ago, the only plant that you could ever see anywhere that people were showing was that fiddle leaf fig. The big leaf, glossy leaf, beautiful leaf figs. That's kind of dated too. Some of the things that I grew up with that everybody loved, maybe palms, maybe a ficus, a lot of different other textures of leaves are being hot right now. That fiddle leaf, although it's a great plant, it's feeling a little stale, and there's lots of other opportunities for other greenery to put throughout your home. Take a look at some of those, but big trees, not just lots of little bitty plants, but we're looking at larger art, not display art of a lot of little things. Big art pieces to take up a space, large trees, potted plants in your homes for greenery, different than the ficus. Taking off the heavy draperies, using some blinds, or just leaving them off altogether. These are some things that are hallmarks of new that people are looking for right now, and are those Instagram perfect homes. If you take notice, you're going to see many of these trends. Now let's head over to the designer show house to see some of these trends in action. And think about it. I would love for you to mark in the comments below, what are you seeing? What are some of the things that you're seeing that I've already mentioned here in the house? I can think of about 9 or 10. One big thing that we're finding always is following through with a little bit of a motif, whatever that motif is. And it doesn't mean to be in your face, but one I can think of in particular, I counted 9 times in this house. It helps the flow from room to room to have each one kind of have a touch point back to the other, to have the whole thing have some great continuity. I'd love to know what you think as you see it. Put it in the comments for me. These homes are stunning. There's no doubt about it. And don't get discouraged if you feel like I can never do a home like that. Look, these same principles will work beautifully in a 1,200 square foot, 2-bedroom starter home. Whether you're refreshing your own living room to more of your style and what you want, or getting your home ready to sell, these updates will make your home feel warm, cozy, inviting, and totally 2025. So how many of the trends that we've talked about for 25, 26 and forward, how many of those trends have you noticed here in this home? I hope you put them in the comments because I think it's fun to see what people are seeing as they go through. I'm working here at the Parade of Homes and I love talking to people. Everyone sees something different that piques their interest. I'd love to know what piques your interest. You can see why I love coming to the Parade of Homes year after year. There's always so many great ideas that I can get for any home that I'm working on or helping someone to stage. But truly, you don't have to have $1 million home to get some phenomenal ideas to use in your own place. If Nashville is starting to feel like the best place for your next chapter, then do what so many others are doing. Grab my relocation guide and grab a 30-minute call so that you and I can come up with a game plan for your next move. I'm Susan Thetford. I'll see you next week.